This is the Power Pacer, a video exercise that will force you to develop a faster eye movement rhythm. The Power Pacer is designed to break you of your bad habits by training your eyes to move so quickly that you won't have time to make that little reading voice in your head that's been slowing you down. This is your exercise bike, your running track, your driving range. It's a device that will allow you to develop and practice the perfect reading stroke or pattern. This is about 400 words per minute, where we'll be about halfway through the course. Initially, it may be a strain on your eyes. Do you feel it? It just about hurts, doesn't it? Can you feel the muscles around your eyes? This is our eye push-up exercise. After every one of our reading selections, a series of multiple choice questions will check your comprehension. Another video technique we're going to use is a variation of a device known as a tachistoscope. It flashes numbers and letters for only a split second and helps build your confidence in recognizing words and numbers at high reading speeds. Here's an example. You might want to try and write these numbers down. You'll always be given a visual and audio signal before each number is flashed. The number will then reappear so you can see how you did. The key to this training is letting the number hit your retina and then writing it down without sub-vocalizing, without saying the number in your head.
I took power reading because in the past I've struggled with reading and I wanted to improve not only my comprehension but my reading speed, and the program just really caught my eye. It's something that I've always wished I could have done, or I wished I could improve on my reading speed and my comprehension. So this course seemed like it offered that, and I tried to take it.
University courses, there comes a lot of reading, and with the kind of hockey schedule we have, you get backlogged a lot and you're always trying to play catch up, and I figured try it out and maybe I could get ahead of the game and just make it that much easier on myself.
My reading speed when I started was approximately 250 words per minute, and today and my comprehension was 25%, my initial test. Not very good. And when I came out today, my reading speed was approximately 480 words per minute, and my comprehension was 60%.
I definitely became a faster reader with the Power Pacer. I mean, I went from 187 words a minute to 415 words a minute, so I definitely became a more efficient reader. My comprehension also went up as well. So it definitely helped me because I did the mapping a lot for my courses, and I ended up with a 4.0 in one of my courses just by doing the mapping. And then for my other course that I didn't really understand, I mapped it as well, and I ended up with a B+, which is 3.3 or something. So it definitely helped me a lot.
Well, the first day, a lot of it was just assessing where we were. And I believe I was around 170 to 180 words per minute, trying to do the comprehension thing. So I was around 40 to 50% comprehension. The last class, I looked up and it said 578, but I don't know, but definitely 500. And then I ended up getting 75 comprehension. So obviously my speed increased and my comprehension increased, which is what I was looking for, was the comprehension part. What I found for myself was I didn't have poor study habits, but it only made me better. So if you're struggling study habit-wise, time management-wise, this is an excellent course. If you have that down, you feel like you have the study skills that are appropriate, this won't hurt. It'll only make you better. And that's where I was at my stage. I wasn't a poor studier, but this made me a better studier.
I'd highly suggest it. Just instead of being frustrated every day because you study for 3 hours and you go home and you're drawing blanks, that frustrates everybody. And after this course, you go home and you know it. Like, you don't have to worry about doing it again the next day and running out of time and all your other courses. It's just, the comprehension is there now. It's a lot better, and I highly suggest it for everybody who wants more of a weekend life because you got time now. It's great. I started at 210 words per minute, then I finished at 415. And the comprehension was exactly the same, but I was just going through twice as much, basically, so it was all plus, good.
I just tell them that it definitely helped me in my studying abilities. I cut down on my time for studying, and I was able to remember more with the mapping and my reading. I mean, it definitely went up, and I can understand more now. Yeah, I was actually at a conference with my practicum teacher, and it was actually a French immersion conference for reading with students and how to get their reading abilities up. And so we had to learn how we read before we could teach our students how to read. So we had an article to read, and I just started reading it, and it was very clear there were 5 main points, so I started mapping this. And then we had to explain, once we were done, what we were thinking while we were reading. And so I showed people my map, and the lady actually made me get up in front of the whole conference and explain how to do the mapping. And so it was quite interesting. They thought it was really good, and we started using it in my class as well when we read. So.
I love mapping because it gives you a definite sequence into how you put your information down on the paper. So when you're thinking of the work that you've read, there's a definite connection between one point to another, and so it's like a photographic memory of the article, and that's why I like mapping. My reading started at 210 words per minute, and it ended at 365, I believe. Power reading is great.
Before this course, initially I found my reading speed to be around 230 words per minute, with probably about 60% comprehension. And now, after this final session, I found that my comprehension's gone up to 70%, and my words per minute have become like 450. Wow. So a dramatic improvement, for sure. Yes, it is actually quite surprising that you learn so much in 5 sessions of an hour and a half or 2 hours each. It's, we're in there, and it's interesting and it's fun, and it's not you're sitting in there and you're bored and you're wishing you were somewhere else. You're getting things done, and you're doing fun exercises that, improve your reading speed and your eye movement and your memory. So.
The one class that's helped me in specifically, I walked in to write my midterm, and I pretty much knew every single question that was going to be on the test.
I would tell people about power reading that basically it gives you a competitive advantage, whether in the corporate world or whether as a student, that you manage your time more effectively, and you're able to consume more information in a shorter period of time and comprehend it a lot more.
I'd say it's a very useful program.
I'd recommend it because it gives like a view of what to do. It gives more rules, like he was talking in the last session about athletes needing rules and like guidelines to follow, and it definitely gives you the guidelines and the rules. I mean, I wouldn't promise that anyone's going to come away successful, because I think a lot of it's how much effort you put into it. So, but I think it's good techniques to learn.
Power reading is great.
All right, here we go. The University of Manitoba Bisons are heading into the regular season ranked 6th in the country.
Shoot it!
To play on Coach Pam Dennis's team, you've got to be tough, mentally and physically, on and off the court.
They're student athletes. They're students first. And so as much as I need to make them a basketball player on the court, I need to help them to become a student. I don't want to bring them into a situation where we're going to set them up to fail. Like, no one wins in that situation.
To wear the black and gold, you're expected to strive for a national championship, but also reach academic All-Canadian status. That means a GPA of 3.5 or higher. Half of the Bison squad clinched that title last season.
Athletes who come into our program know that they've got to be students, and if they can't pull their weight in the classroom, then this isn't the program for them.
Last year, it was pretty tough, so it was a 2.2 GPA.
Sarah Rahoriak is a natural athlete. There you go. But getting good grades has been tough. The 20-year-old phys ed major is in her 2nd year at the U of M. She's definitely got the drive for basketball, but admits that hitting the books is another game altogether.
I have a hard time motivating myself to open the book and study.
Coming to university is overwhelming. It's just so different than what it's like in high school. And academically, Sarah, especially in her first year, was not necessarily a strong student.
I think your average student who comes in, takes courses, and goes home has no idea what an athlete goes through.
The demands, pressure, and expectations are extreme.
It's kind of like having two full-time jobs at once.
These players eat, sleep, and breathe basketball every day. They spend at least 20 hours a week on practicing, strength training, and therapy. And that doesn't include games or travel time. The dedication to their sport is intense. It's the life of an elite athlete.
They don't know what it's like to be done at 5 o'clock, to eat supper with their families, and then start studying at 6 or 7 till 10 o'clock. That's so foreign to them. When is a free day? They don't have free days.
Box out. Sometimes practicing is really grueling and just like, oh, when's it going to be over? And I just want to go home.
With the demands that are placed on them, you have to have a certain individual who's going to be able to handle that.
But for some, the pressure is just too much. They're forced to the sidelines because of academic ineligibility.
We have a few every year, but once a student becomes ineligible, they're losing something that they're very passionate about, and you can be darn sure it's not going to happen again.
There is a struggle balancing athletics and education, and it's about time management and about shortcuts.
That's where Neil Edwards comes in.
You'll never read the same way again after tonight.
Call him the coach inside the classroom.
I understand the balance between athletics and education.
This Bison football alumnus retired his jersey about a decade ago. But today, Neil Edwards continues to invest in the athletes at the University of Manitoba.
You'll see some excellent results. Amazing results, actually.
Welcome to Power Reading for Athletes, an intense 4-week program that aims to cut a student-athlete's study time in half by doubling their reading speed and giving them an edge over their classmates.
In an athlete's life, it makes sense. An extra hour a day for some of our girls is incredible.
The basketball Lady Bisons are among the first students to try out the new class. In fact, Coach Pam Dennis makes it mandatory for first, second, and third-year players to attend.
We're investing in them as people and to develop them, and so it was just part of the package. And so it really is a no-brainer.
Staying focused on your task is a big deal, especially as an athlete.
Power Reading is already working in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but this is the first time Manitoba athletes are harnessing their sporting skills and applying them to their studies.
All the attributes that you need to be a good reader are the same ones you need to be a good athlete. Coordination, eye speed, dexterity, duration, be able to do something for a long time, and also to have the confidence to believe in what you're doing.
Ready, go! These girls are constantly working on drills to improve their game. So consider this as push-ups for the eyes and sit-ups for the brain. Edwards uses a series of video tools like the Power Tack and the Power Pacer to train the eye to move faster and more efficiently. Students can even download their own textbooks and assignments into the system.
That your eyes and your voice don't always work on the same page.
When we talk about subvocalizing, that's that little voice in your head that reads along with you. And what we teach our students to do is to read at speeds that are too fast for that little voice to keep up.
As toddlers, we all learn to read by sounding out the words, so it's a tough habit for anyone to break. But athletes have been known to reach speeds of nearly 500 words per minute with amazing comprehension.
The eye is a muscle. And like most athletes, they have superior muscle functions than most people. And so the human eye isn't any different.
I was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'm gonna read 500 words a minute. That just makes a lot of sense. I was so skeptical at first of it, yeah, for sure.
But as the weeks went by, second-year Bison Sarah Rahoriak gradually became a believer.
I could kind of see my eyes going faster when I was reading. So I think that was what really got me okay, maybe this is really working.
Speed is one thing, but what these girls really need is more hours in the day. Between practices, training, and games, school isn't always their first priority.
You need shortcuts. Not for everybody, but certainly for you, because you don't have time.
This may look confusing, but according to Edwards, it's actually the road that leads to all the answers.
You can map anything.
Memory mapping puts together the most important information, providing a visual study guide all on one page. That way you don't have to go back and reread the textbook before a test. Students are also encouraged to ask the professor about the 3 main points of the lecture after every class.
They will save a lot of time because now they've learned how to listen, how to take notes, and not, in a different way, which makes more sense to them. Hey, anything that helps us academically, I'm all for it.
This is a critical time of year for university students. Midterm exams are right around the corner, the first test of the girls' newly acquired skills.
That's why you're here. So anyone get a really impressive score?
Every athlete has that burning desire to win, the need to execute faster than the competition. Whether it's on the court or inside the power reading classroom, these Bison basketball players have goals and they go after them.
Definitely I have more time and I comprehend more what I'm reading rather than just having to go back and reread what I just read. I can just be done with it and kind of have a good sense of what I was reading.
Telling testimony from Sarah Rahoriak.
How did things go with your final assessment?
In just 4 weeks, the 20-year-old guard has gone from reading 200 words per minute with very little comprehension to 300, and now she understands 80% of what she reads.
I was actually really surprised. I didn't think I was gonna be able to comprehend what I'm reading because that's what I have a problem with, so that was kind of cool.
Rahoriak goes into her 2nd year of university with about a C average. Her goal is to wrap up the year with B, a few grade points shy of becoming an academic All-Canadian.
I'm hoping that my GPA will improve as the years go by, but as far as 3.5, that would be really, really nice, but for me, I need to be more realistic.
She's, I think, learning a lot. She's maturing. The whole process, if you can turn a negative into a positive, has been that it's been a real eye-opener for her, and I can see that she's matured, both on and off the floor. Hopefully we'll see when her marks come in, but definitely I think there's been a shift in her focus. I think her energy is different. I think how she's approaching her academics is completely different, and to be honest, that's really half the battle.
It works, and the results are instant.
This is the first time the Power Reading for Athletes program has been offered in Manitoba. And by the sound of things, this unique technique scored big with the university.
Very, very happy with the results. And as a matter of fact, one young man failed a course, repeated it, and got an A. So, you got to be happy with that. There's a lot of good things that are happening here.
Effort and focus.
They put the effort in, they're seeing the results, and they're also seeing it in their grades. It's one thing to read faster, to have better comprehension. When you get that first test back and you score an excellent grade and higher than you anticipated, that's when I feel that the program is at its best.
Good job! For many of these girls, their basketball careers will end when they graduate. The game will always be their passion, but they know when they leave the hardwood behind, it's their academic experience that will prepare them for the rest of their lives.